I'm at Cultivate 2026, and today we're going to take you behind the scenes into one of the largest horticultural trade shows in the United States. Hi, I'm Heidi from Garden Crossings, and as soon as we enter through those trade show doors, it is just acres and acres of all things greenhouse related. There's plants, there's structures, there's soils, there's pots, there's anything you can think of that goes on behind the scenes at the greenhouses, products that are needed to bring beautiful plants to your door. So today we're going to go ahead and take a walk through there. I'm going to just stop at various booths and check out some of the new plant introductions that are on the market. Doesn't mean these are plants that we're necessarily going to carry, but this is where I'm going to be looking for your feedback to find out if these plants are something that you would like to see here at Garden Crossings. We're going to see annuals, perennials, shrubs, all different kind of plants. And I've already been through the show yesterday, and there is just so many awesome things that I just can't wait to get in there and show you today. So let's go ahead and take a walk through the trade show here at Cultivate 2026. For the last 2 years, we carried this Supercal Petcoas, and there's a few new colors in the lineup for this year, and I think they're pretty cool colors. So let's take a look. This is the Supercal Premium Ice variety, which has a really nice big white flower with that purple center on it. And I think this is really kind of fun because of all of the Supercals so far that we've carried in this Petcoa line, none of them have really had this type of a flower pattern on it. We're looking here at a huge display of all of the Supercal Petcoa petunias, and you can see like there's a lot of bright colors, a lot of whites, but nothing that has that center with the color in it. Another new variety is the Supercal Pink Star. Now, these plants here in the lighting of the trade show are not very good looking. They look kind of brown and muted and just not really awesome. But we're going to put a picture up on the screen of this plant so you can actually see what it would look like in your garden. But again, this has got a pretty cool pattern on it. I do think you're going to see some variation of color from new blooms to old blooms. So that is something you will see, but I'm feeling like they're just a little bit brown looking here today at the trade show. The Profusion zinnias, these two are another great plant that we carry, the Profusion series, and they're great kind of for the butterflies. And there's a couple new colors I want to show you in this lineup as well. Let's take a look. So this here is the Profusion zinnia. This is the double red variety. It's red with kind of a little bit of an orange undertone. There's also the Profusion Double Fire Improved, which is definitely very orange. There is the Profusion Red Yellow Bicolor, which I think that's a pretty sweet color. I love it's more pink than it is red, but with the yellow they're paired together. And then the new variety here is this Zinnia Double White Improved. Now, it's interesting because the flowers are white, but as I'm looking at them here today, there's a lot of green undertones that's coming through. And I think the reason, and I want to show you this, is because I went and kind of took a closer look at the plant. I flipped the flower over, and underneath of the petals there, see how it's all green? So I think a lot of that green shade is coming through to the white. And it gives it just really kind of a pretty light lime color for this white plant. So this one is the new variety I wanted to show you. And it depends on where I'm standing here in the light. Sometimes it looks just a little bit more white. Other times it looks a little bit more green. So where I'm standing now, you're seeing where it has a little bit more of that green undertone. But when I go in closer to the plant, it really brightens up and lightens up. But it is definitely a nice, clean white. We're not seeing hardly any brown on here at all. And they really haven't trimmed any of the spent blooms off. So I think to be able to have a white that stays clean is nice. But yeah, with that green underlay there, that really just kind of adds a neat little color to this Profusion Double White zinnia. So we're familiar with like the Vigorous series of the Sunpatiens and then also the Compact series. Well, there's a new series now called the Petite series. So I'm going to try to find out some more information on the Petite series to see just exactly like how tall or how small these are. So far it looks like maybe there's 4 colors. There's red, there's the nice bright orange, there is the blush pink, and then also a beautiful purple color. So with the Sunpatiens, we just carry the Compact series because even the Compact series can get about 2 foot tall. I don't even know how tall the Vigorous series would get, probably 3 foot. So I'm curious to see how much more compact these petites are than the actual compact series. Now, if these could stay only about 12 inches tall, I think that would be great. I mean, 2 foot's good, but I think there is definitely applications where it would be nice if the Sunpatiens would stay just a little bit more compact in their habit. So in this show, they've got just tables and tables of all new plant varieties from several different companies. And I'm at the Walter's Garden one right now. And I wanted to show you this new coneflower here. So this is Just Peachy. It's part of the Double Dip series. Isn't that a beautiful coneflower? Now, one thing I'll say is a lot of these flower colors are a little bit skewed because we're under, I think these are like fluorescent lights or something. So the colors get a little off and even they change over the days of the show. But in general, you get a good idea of what that one looks like. And then here's another Nepeta. This is Tall Tales. This actually is a very tall Nepeta. This one, I believe, gets almost 3 foot tall. What do we got here? 28 to 32 inches. So this is a very tall Nepeta as it's growing in the garden. Now, we know a lot of people like the shorter ones, but I'm sure there's also more people, too, that would like some taller ones. And this is going to be a great tall addition. This here is a false sunflower, a heliopsis. This is called Sunny Disposition. Nice kind of double flower. Several rows there. We have a lot of heliopsis, and I don't know that we'll be carrying this one next year because there are so many great proven winner ones, but I did just want to show that to you and point it out. Now, talking about proven winners, we're going to head to the next little kiosk here, which has some of the proven winner varieties. And we've talked about this. We already grow this one, but this is a dark sky living large salvia. Really big flowers, nice tall plant. Here's a new heliopsis with proven winners, Forged and Fire, nice coppery, full of coppery flower. These big flowers. This plant, too, is a fairly tall plant, 32 to 36 inches tall. And yeah, they have a few little things here in this booth. Not a ton, but rubies and diamonds, a new of the bleeding heart. Now, this is not a good coloration. They're very faded out. And again, this is being in the trade show floor. They're a nice, rich, almost red color. We have done some tours at Walter's where we've showed these, and be sure to check out our Walter's Gardens tours because that's showing them in a real landscape setting, which is a much better way of showcasing all of these new plants. All right, let's continue and see what else we got. So as mentioned, we're going to take a look at annuals and perennials and shrubs that are new varieties introduced this year. And again, these are not plants that we are necessarily carrying, but this is where I need your opinions. I need you to weigh in on if you think this is a plant that we should add into the offerings at Garden Crossings. So this here is a perennial. It's a Dreamscape Smooth Hydrangea. It's from Bailey Company. And what is, I think, different than this from some of the smooth hydrangeas we've seen is they have really, really big pink flowers. And they're a nice, rich, deep pink. So a lot deeper than some of the ones we currently carry. Definitely a lot bigger flowers. Really strong stems that hold up these heavy, big flowers. And I don't know, as I was walking through, it really struck me by the flower size and the deep, rich magenta pink coloration of them. So definitely, a little different than what we have and unique. It gets about 3 to 4 foot tall, full sun to part shade locations. What do you think about this Dreamscape Smooth Hydrangea? So here's a plant that I want you to try to guess before I tell you what it is. So when you look at this plant, no cheating, don't look at the little name cards. What's your first initial thought as to what this is? All right, now that you got it in your head, I'm going to tell you. These here are actually a new line of heuchera or corabels. When I first looked at it, I thought they were a coleus, like from a quick glance, but definitely that's not the case. These are from Terranova Nursery, and it's the Fry Wing series. There's a lot of different colors. It looks like there's about 7 different colors here in this series, but they got really serrated leaves, like something totally unlike any of the corabels I've ever seen before. They got a little bit of a flower on them, a little bell-shaped flower, which is going to be great for pollinators. Just a nice, airy feel to them. I want to just show you all of the various colors here. We've got amber and spinel. We have the jadeite. I'm hoping I'm saying these right. The next one is hemati. Who knows where these names come from? Rhodonite. Helidor, and then jet. What do you think about these? Like, do you think you could see growing corbel that looks totally like any other corbel in your garden? Are they cool? Are they weird? Are they just uniquely different that maybe it would be something that would be interesting to you? I'm going to take a look here a second because we want to see if we can see what the hardiness zone is on these plants, because it will make a big difference for many of you that are looking to potentially zones 4 to 9. So they have excellent cold hardiness on them as well. So that's always something when you're looking at plants, do they work in your area? What do you think? Begonias are always kind of cool. And this is Iconia Valencia Pink. The reason I like this begonia is it has kind of like a double layer of petals, and then also that nice bright yellow center. It's a very vibrant pink, really cool coloration. I don't know, when I was walking past the booth, this one just really stood out to me as something unique and different. Do you like this Iconia Valencia Pink? Another one, these are from Geum and Orange. Other ones that stood out to me in this particular booth as well were some of the petunias. And it's just the different patterns on the petunias. This is Sweet Tunia Windmill Rose, that nice pink and white. This one here is totally different, part of that Sweet Tunia series. Violet Vortex. I don't know, I think that is a sweet looking coloration. But yeah, there's a lot of fun new plants that we get to see at these shows. And just taking a look and trying to decide, which one is something unique enough, different enough that we should add into our offerings. We've seen so many new plant varieties today, and one thing I do need to point out is these varieties, they don't just magically show up one day. There is so many years of trialing and testing that goes into bringing the perfect plant to the market. So when you see the prices of plants, they're not cheap. And the reason is because there's so much time and energy and money that goes into the breeders, the people that are doing the trials, the different test locations all across the United States. In some situations, it can take 7 to 15 years before any of these plants are even brought to the market. So for those of you who appreciate what goes into bringing new plants to the market, thank you. For those of you who just don't understand it, I'm hoping that by just kind of talking about it here a little bit, it helps you understand, why plants are the prices they are. And not only is there so much that goes in on the back end of just bringing them to the market, once you get to the garden centers, a good garden center, they are touching that plant several times from the moment it's planted in the greenhouse until the moment that it's sold and goes home with you. So lots of touches go on, lots of time goes on in bringing excellent products to the market. Let's continue to look for more plant varieties. So I recently took you guys on a tour of a rock garden that was absolutely gorgeous, and that was at Garden Solutions, located right near us. And this is a product that they just introduced. It's their Tight and Tidy Sedum collection. So this is a very compact, low-growing sedum, and it comes in a lot of different variety of colors. So Tight and Tidy Red Angelina. And I'm sure you're recognizing the name Angelina because Angelina sedum is a very popular sedum. A Tight and Tidy Yellow Angelina. Now this will be more yellow when it gets in more sun. As I mentioned, the lights during the trade show kind of mess things up a little bit. Pink Angelina, which I think is super sweet. And then Green Angelina. And also, last but not least, is the Blue Angelina. So these are very tight, low-growing sedum. They are, a lot of different colors. You can mix them and match them and have all different colors in a container combination. I'm going to show you a cool mix and match of them here in just a second. They're hardy in zones 3 to 9, so very cold tolerant. But also for those of you who are in warmer climates, they will grow well for you as well. So here in these little cups here, they've taken little cuttings of all of the various colors and mixed them all together. What do you think about that? Like, do you like that they're all mixed, or would you rather be able to choose just one solid color? Because this is an option we could buy in, or we could buy them in as a straight color. Now, this is kind of a fun thing that they created where they planted each of the colors into this circular planter, kind of made like a pie shape out of it. And I think this is kind of cool because just having each of the little slice of the pie being a different color is a different unique look. And this is something you could do in your landscape as well. So just, interesting. One other thing I want to show too, this here is a sedum called Sunsparkler Blue Ox. What do you think about the color of that? It's like shiny feeling, blue, but purple undertones, but super deep and dark. This is another new variety for 2027. Here we have it in a planter with some of that Tight and Tidy, which kind of shows the contrast of the color. So let me know your feedback on these sedums. So we're in the booth right now for the Elegance Pansy series, and we're actually here with a breeder, Asao Sato. And you guys, those pansies, the Antoinette and the Twilight series, we couldn't keep them in stock long enough. And this is the guy behind that beautiful breeding. So we are excited to introduce that there is 2 new colors coming out. So we will be letting you know about that in the next few months or so. But, you know, these are gorgeous plants.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, our viewers, they just been loving plants. So you did a great job and came up with a great flower product. We're so excited.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, and you were just showing me in the booth too, like something that you can do with the flowers.
Yeah.
And this is an actual flower from the collection.
Yeah.
And they dip this in resin
Yes.
to make these little brooches.
Yeah.
So you have your beautiful flowers. If you want to snip a few off, you can make really cool crafts as well. So this is something additional to enjoying them in the garden. You can enjoy wearing them on your shirt as well. Thank you for taking a few minutes with us today. And we're so excited and honored to carry your flowers at Garden Crossings.
Oh, I'm appreciate. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So this is something exciting for our local customers. Obviously, this is cement statuary, and we do not want to be shipping this stuff. But for those of you who are local to us in Zeeland, Michigan, this is an excellent line of statuary that we are looking into potentially carrying for 2027. We love the designs they have. The quality is amazing. And this is just something that I think it would be a good addition at Garden Crossings. We grow a lot of begonia and Mandevilla at Garden Crossings, and they come in so many different colors. There's reds, there's whites, there's pinks, there's oranges, there's yellows, there's corals. It's just an array of color. There's even blues. But there's a few new ones I wanted to show you here in the booth today, and get your feedback again. This here is the Sunpatiens Giant Powder Pink. And what I like about this one is, yes, it's pink, and there's a lot of pinks out there. But this one plant has like 4 to 5 different shades of pink going on. And it kind of depends on the age of the flowers. So you're seeing there's some whites, there's some very light pinks, some medium pinks, and even some dark pink coloration. So this vine here, it's a Mandevilla, and it's great for climbing up trellises. You can see how it's planted, and I think this is a 10 or 12-inch pot that they have it planted in. And going up that trellis, it adds a lot of vertical height to your container combinations. Not only can you plant it in containers, you can plant it in the ground as well and just put a nice little trellis or a bleach behind it. And just, it's nice when you have a plant that can just add that vertical interest to the garden or in the landscape. I'm excited for this one because I do love all the various colors, and just it's got excellent vigor, excellent humidity tolerance. I do think this is something we will be adding for sure to Garden Crossings offerings. 2 more colors I want to show you, and I feel like these are kind of like outside the typical palette of Mandevilla. This here is the Sunpatiens XP Maui's Sunset. So this one is a very sunset shade colored plant. It's got some really rich, deep, kind of orangey red flowers, a little bit lighter orange or yellow tones going on. I like that there is several shades that just, it's one scent, and one scent makes it just look so much more fuller when you have the various shades going on, because it just adds some depth and dimension. This is a pretty sweet color, I think. Another one is the Sunpatiens Fired Up Magic Pink. This is part of the Fired Up series, which is more of a bush type Mandevilla. So it's not really so much a clinger, but just kind of an upright bush. And the Magic Pink, magic because it changes colors. So there's some creamy colors, some of that medium pink color, a little bit darker pink. The flowers aren't quite as big as the Sunpatiens Giant series, but I think, we all have kind of a different application that we're looking to put our plants in. So there's been a lot of begonias that have kind of caught my eye at the show, and this is the Iconia series, and specifically it's this pink one that I thought was pretty sweet. When you look at the flowers, there's like a lot of row of petals, and then it looks like there's like a flower on top of a flower on top of another flower with the pink and then the yellow in the center. It's got nice dark green foliage. I like the flower cover on it. I didn't realize this until right now that we were walking through the booth. It also comes in other colors. This here is a white, and it's kind of a more of a upright, but then also trailing type habit. There's yellow with really nice big flowers, lots of little petals in the center, and then a gorgeous orange as well. So it's always fun when there is new series of plants. And I don't know, I'm really quite partial to the pink. I love the flower form on that. So there's one plant that has just been like everywhere at the show this year. Like every time you take a corner, there's another display. And that is these Sunpatiens here. I don't know what to think of them. They're different. They're called Solar Sister. They're Black-Eyed Susan. Flowers are absolutely huge. The color is where I'm stuck a little bit. I'm not sure if I really love the color of these, but it's such a different and unique looking flower that I think it's definitely something that I need to take a look into. Hardy zones are 7 to 9. So for us here in Michigan, we'd be growing them more as an annual. So it'd probably be part of our fall collection. Full sun to part sun location, and about 24 inches tall. Definitely huge, huge flowers. But what do you think of the color of this particular plant? I always love the creative aspect that goes into displays. And I would say this is probably the most creative display I've seen in this show of any of them so far. So this here is for Lantana, the Lantana Shamrock Cherry Sunrise. These are just beautiful mounded habit of Lantana. Now we've carried Cherry Sunrise in years past, and I don't know, for some reason it was dropped, or I don't know what the deal was, but I'm so excited to see that it is back again. The color is absolutely gorgeous. Shades of magenta and orange and yellow, and just look at the perfect rounded habit of these plants. Now I do want to show you a nuance with this plant. Maybe it's not even a nuance, it just happens to do with where they were grown. So the one we're looking at here that's tucked down closer to the ground, this one was grown in a greenhouse that has open shades, so more cooler temperatures in that greenhouse. And you're noticing that it's a little bit deeper, richer magenta, a little bit more golden yellow. And then as we come up to the ones here that were grown in a warmer greenhouse, the coloration of these flowers are just a little bit more vibrant, a little bit brighter and more intense. So realistically, you could get both of these looks. So earlier in the season, you'll get the one that has a little bit deeper shades. And then as it gets into the heat of the summer, it's going to lighten up a little bit and look more like what we're seeing here in this display. Now, there's more in this series, so I want to show you one more here in just a minute. And obviously, I love this color. I know this is an awesome color. The next one we're going to look at is just a little bit different. The color palette is totally different than something I've seen. So let's go take a look and let me know what your thoughts are on the next one as well. So this is still part of that Shamrock series, which is known for its mounding type habit. This is called the Lantana Shamrock Rose Gold. So it's different. Like I feel like it's different than any of the Lantanas I've seen because it's got the bright, intense yellow, but then the very soft, muted pink coloration. What do you think about this? Like, do you like this color, or does it feel like it's a little bit bright with pastel, kind of a mixed pairing of colors? I don't know. The debate is still out for me, but I do know that it looks different, and I'm feeling like this is something that is going to maybe be of interest to some people that aren't into those bright, bold pink colorations. So typically when you think of Geum, at least I do, I think of an orange or a reddish orange flower. This Geum we found here today has shades of yellow and pink all on one plant. I like Geum because it blooms usually earlier summer and is fairly long blooming throughout the season. This particular one here is called Pretty Petticoats. It's got kind of a nicer, fuller flower. It looks like it's got like 2-3 rows of petals on it. But I'm just curious, what are your thoughts on this yellowy pink Geum opposed to a typical color of orange? Sometimes you come across plants that are just intriguing, something that is a totally different flower form than what you're typically used to seeing when you see this plant. And this would be the Scabiosa or pincushion flower. When I first walked past this, I wasn't sure exactly what it was because it looks so unlike any of the Scabiosas I've ever seen before. So this particular one here is called Skyrocket, and it's got really huge flowers. I'll show you in my hand just to kind of give you an idea of how big that flower is. But just look how many petals are packed into that flower. I also love that it's got that transition of color going on from the white into the lighter purple and into the darker purple. And it's pretty tall as well. These are really long stems with the flowers on it. And they're so pretty here as they kind of are just bobbling around in the breeze. So this is probably one of the most unique looking plants that I've seen today out on our quest for new plant varieties. It's been a long and busy few days here at Cultivate 2026, but it's a great time for us to get out of the greenhouse and just see what is new in the industry. I'd like to know, what was, of all the plants we showed you today, what was your favorite plant that we showcased? If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And yeah, I really would like to have some engagement from you, just letting me know things that you like, because what we're going to do is we're going to take all the comments from this video and compile a list to see which of the plants were yays and which of them were nays, and then we'll go over and take a look to see if we can get them added to what we'll be selling in 2027. Thanks for watching. I'm Heidi from Garden Crossings.